Good day, mates, and welcome to the Independent Investor, where we cut through the noise and bring you what truly matters. I'm Fiona McAllister, stepping in this week while host, Buzzman Tambaqui, is off on special assignment, interviewing an elusive XRP whale who's been swimming in profits since 2017. He promises to return with insights, and hopefully not another crypto tattoo. Joining me today are our research scientists, Bay, Burr, Captain Kapalap, and Coconut Doggy. Let's start by revisiting last week's highlight. Buzzman walked us through MSTY's April 11th dividend payout, $1.3356 per share, translating to an annualized yield around 87.72%. That episode's still up, link in the description if you want a refresher. MSTY continues its unique strategy, writing call options on MicroStrategy, MSTR, or stock to capture premium income while keeping one foot firmly in the Bitcoin ecosystem. It's a hybrid approach, high income meets high conviction. Sure, the upside's capped, but the cash flow has been as steady as a Bondi tide. And today, we'll dive into the numbers. So stay alert, this is going to be insightful. Have your notebook ready? Grab your brew and let's unpack the YieldMax's MSTY ETF, where our journey has brought us heading into a new trading week, kicking off on Monday, April 21st. Let's break down the MSTY price action from April 11th through April 17th, 2025. Coming into the week, sentiment around MSTY was cautious. Broader markets had been under pressure, with investors rattled by unresolved tariff discussions and macroeconomic uncertainty. That cloud carried into Friday, April 11th, dividend day, as MSTY issued its scheduled payout of $1.3356 per share. Despite the weight of recent bearish momentum, MSTY opened at $18.86, below the prior close, but quickly rebounded. Strong buying interest drove the price up to an intraday high of $20.05, with the ETF ultimately closing just shy of the $20 mark at $19.88. Volume surged to over 9 million shares, indicating heavy engagement, likely due to both the dividend and broader market positioning. What followed was a confidence-driven rally. Over the next several sessions, MSTY steadily gained ground. On Monday, April 14th, it closed at $20.59, with 10.4 million shares traded, momentum clearly building. By Tuesday, April 15th, MSTY touched $20.94 and closed strong at $20.73, pushing above pre-dividend levels. Wednesday, April 16th saw a dip intraday to $20.42, but the ETF closed higher again at $20.83. Finally, on Thursday, April 17th, MSTY reached a weekly high of $21.30, before closing at $21.23, marking a complete rebound and then some. This upward trend was likely reinforced by news that imposition of major global tariffs were being postponed, temporarily calming investor fears and opening a window for renewed appeal. Looking ahead, we see an upcoming dividend marker 14 trading days into the future on Friday, May 9th. With the MSTY closed call ETF continuing to capture profits from the volatility of MSTR, BTC, and broader macro catalysts, MSTY remains a compelling option income play. What you're looking at here is a volumetric price study for MSTY, covering the period from Friday, April 11th through Thursday, April 17th, 2025. A volumetric price study, also known as a volume by price analysis, displays how much trading volume has occurred at various price levels over a specific time period. In this chart, aggregated volumes for 6 distinct price buckets are visualized on the right-hand side as a purple horizontal histogram. This type of chart helps identify price zones of interest, such as support and resistance levels, accumulation and distribution zones, and potential breakout areas. The purple bands represent the cumulative trading volume at each price level. The longer the bar, the more shares exchanged hands there, signaling where investor interest, and likely conviction, has been strongest. During this period for MSTY, we observed two key volume clusters. Approximately 80% of the trades from April 11th through April 17th occurred at price points around $20 and above, showing strong participation in the recovery phase. Meanwhile, 20% of buyers were able to lock in the most attractive pricing, below $20, during the early stages of trading on April 11th. Now keep in mind, MSTY is a high-yield ETF, and most investors hold it for its monthly dividend payouts, rather than for capital appreciation. However, the lower the buy-in price, the higher the effective yield and return on investment. With the all-time high for MSTY having reached $46.50 in November 2024, and the all-time low just recently set at $17.10 on April 8, we remain much closer to the bottom than the top of the historical range. This chart covers the period from April 11 through April 17, 2025, and presents a comparative analysis of MSTY, MicroStrategy's common stock, and Bitcoin itself. MSTY is a covered call ETF that writes options on MSTR stock, capturing income from volatility while maintaining indirect exposure to Bitcoin through MSTR's substantial Bitcoin holdings. MicroStrategy, often referred to now as the strategy, reportedly holds 531,644 Bitcoins, according to data from investing.com. This creates a tight correlation between these three assets and is the reason we monitor them in tandem. In this line chart, white represents MSTY, green shows MSTR common stock, blue tracks Bitcoin. Over this 7-day window, MSTR climbed 16.5%. MSTY followed closely, rising 16.2%. And Bitcoin increased by 6.9%. As of April 2025, MicroStrategy's Bitcoin position, totaling over 531,000 coins, was acquired at an average price of $67,556 per Bitcoin, and is currently valued at more than $35.9 billion. That makes MicroStrategy the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin in the world. This chart highlights how MSTY can track MSTR's upside potential while also generating consistent yield through its option overlay strategy. For income-focused investors seeking Bitcoin-linked exposure with managed volatility, MSTY remains a compelling and differentiated strategy. This chart offers a broader market comparison for the trading period from April 11 through Thursday, April 17, 2025. Showcasing how MSTY stacks up against a range of key asset classes, spanning currencies, commodities, crypto, and equities. Each line represents a different market indicator. White is MSTY, the MSTR covered call ETF. Red is UUP, tracking the US dollar index. Pink is WisdomTree WTI crude oil. Gold reflects SPDR gold shares. Blue tracks Bitcoin. Green is the Nasdaq Composite Index. So, how did they all perform over this window? We already know from our previous research that MSTY surged ahead with a 16.2% gain. Bitcoin followed, up 6.9%. Gold added 4.7%, and oil wasn't far behind at 4.4%. Meanwhile, the US dollar slid minus 1.4%. And the Nasdaq Composite dipped minus 0.6%. By comparing MSTY's movement to assets like Bitcoin, gold, crude oil, Nasdaq, and the US dollar, we get a deeper reveal on relative strength in the broader market landscape. It's a way of asking, is MSTY just surfing a market wave, or is it showing true independent momentum? And in this case, MSTY's outperformance across the board tells us something important. It wasn't just following the pack. It was leading it. This highlights MSTY's unique position. A high-yield instrument tied to crypto-driven equity, yet capable of outperforming traditional safe havens and risk assets alike, even when the broader macro picture is mixed. For income-focused investors seeking Bitcoin-linked yield with closed call puts converted to income, MSTY remains a compelling and differentiated strategy. Let's take a closer look at the MSTY year summary, which tracks both the fund's monthly price activity and its dividend distribution schedule for 2025. The table is divided into two parts. On the left, we have the trading periods, price ranges, and share volume. On the right, you'll see the corresponding dividend declaration dates, ex-dates, payment dates, and amounts. To date, for trading cycles have fully completed, those are December 20th to January 15th, January 17th to February 12th, February 14th to March 12th, and March 14th to April 9th. Let's go through each quickly. The first period saw MSTY trading between $26 and $31.60, with 66.4 million shares traded. The second period narrowed slightly, ranging from $25.13 to $30.52, on 95.5 million shares of volume. In the third cycle, MSTY dropped sharply, from $17.92 to $25.79, and volume surged to 133 million shares. The fourth period set the year-to-date low of $17.48, peaking with a high of $25.78 and a continuing trend with increasing volume at nearly 148 million shares. Now we are in the midst of the fifth cycle, spanning April 11th through May 7th. As of now, 5 full trading days have been completed. The price has ranged from $18.61 to $21.30, with 34.7 million shares traded so far. That leaves 14 trading days remaining before the next dividend payment, scheduled for May 9th. Looking at the dividends. January paid out $2.2792. February followed with $2.0216. March dropped to $1.3775. And April settled at $1.3356. The upcoming May dividend will be declared on May 7th, with the ex-date on May 8th, and payout on May 9th. 7 more dividend cycles are scheduled for the rest of the year, and as we track the relationship between price range, volume, and dividend output, we begin to see how MSTY adapts to market volatility and investor demand. This slide serves not only as a record, but as a tool, helping investors anticipate changes, time entries, and understand yield movement across the calendar year. We'll continue monitoring the current cycle as it unfolds and look forward to seeing how MSTY navigates this stretch leading into the May 9th dividend payout. All right, mates, that wraps up our MSTY weekly summary in preparation for Monday, April 21, 2025. On behalf of Buzzman Tambaqui, myself, Fiona, and the full research crew, Bay, Burr, Captain Kapalap, and Coconut Doggy, thanks for tuning into The Independent Investor. We hope this gave you a clearer view of MSTY's position in the broader market and how it's tracking this cycle. Now, just a quick reminder. This is not financial advice. It's a presentation of our research findings on MSTY, compiled from trusted sources, including Yahoo Finance, Nasdaq.com, and insights provided by ChatGPT. Always conduct your own due diligence before making any investment decisions. Wishing you a focused, resilient, and successful investing week ahead. Keep your strategies sound, and your risk balanced to your own independent investment objectives. And as always, here at The Independent Investor, we show you the good, the bad, and the bold. We'll see you again at the end of the week, where we'll break down another week of MSTY's performance and help you get ready to face next week's markets with insight and clarity. Until then, may your discipline find great opportunities.